Well, the growing sandwich generation, that's millennials moving back in with their parents during adulthood, has changed family dynamics. It's also changed the financial future of the family unit. CTV's chief financial commentator, Patty Levitt-Reid, sat down with Clarke, author of the just-released book, True Family Wealth, Love, Money, and Inspired Life, and looked at how the family unit can tackle true wealth on all fronts.
True wealth is much, much more than money. To me, it's every member of the family living the lives they love with the resources to support their choices.
Easier said than done.
Yes.
Today's millennials in a little different situation than other generations, maybe looking to the bank of mom and dad. Is it realistic to expect them to help, or do they just help if you go by your principle?
I think we're all meant to help each other. We're pack animals, right? We're not supposed to do this on our own. So I think it's absolutely necessary, but in order to do so healthfully, I think it's important that the family use best business practices to work as a team together to achieve a common goal. And that goal isn't always just about money, right?
Right. But let's talk about best business practices, because money and family, very emotional.
Yes,
how do you
absolutely.
Is bringing the business element into it stripping that away?
It doesn't strip it away, but it gives you a tool to be able to navigate through that. So if you think about a business, you're able to bring a team of people together that don't even know each other and sometimes don't even like each other, but yet they have unique talents and they have unique dreams and opportunities. So using best business practices, we're able to help that group learn to communicate and make decisions more effectively together in a professional manner.
In a professional manner.
Absolutely.
And if I think about wealth, though, is it not a top-down approach? Because usually previous generations, the boomers, looking to the millennials,
right,
they control the purse strings.
They do in the traditional sense.
Right.
Through the family treasury process that I'm recommending in the book, it is a bit of a journey, I will say that. But in this case, what we're doing is, instead of the previous generation passing the torch to the next generation, what we're doing is we're carrying the torch together.
Right. That's a big difference. That is a big difference.
Yeah.
Let's go back to an earlier comment that you made, that true wealth isn't just about the money.
Right.
I'm sure health has to come into play.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And loving relationships.
And good relationships and all of that. But do you prioritize, or how do you blend them together?
The priority is very much a function of what the family decides together is what their vision and goal is. So for some families, it's not about money. It might be about philanthropy, for example. Right. Or it could actually be about education, or making change in the world, or expressing an artistic capability. So every family treasures different things. And by creating a vision and pulling a team together to manifest that vision, then the family is able to create the lives that they love and to manifest the treasures that are important to them.
It sounds great, but there are challenges.
Absolutely.
What are some of them?
The biggest challenges, I would say, are the family dynamics, and that's where these best business practices are so important to create an effective team. But in addition to that, I think one of the other challenges is financial abdication.
Giving it to someone else to look after?
Absolutely. Oh, I just don't like money, or I'm not interested in money, or I don't know anything about money. I think it's everybody's responsibility in the family to gain financial acumen, to gain financial literacy. How are you supposed to work with money if you don't know anything about it? That would be the first thing. The second thing that I would say is not having a strategic plan. So any business would have a plan that would take them from where they are today to the achievement of their goals. Same thing in the family dynamic. What is your plan? What are your goals? What are your objectives? And how are you going to get there?
What if the family doesn't get aligned on goals and objectives?
I haven't yet seen that happen, to be honest.
Really?
But what I'm also suggesting is that family doesn't all have to go for the same goal, because what we're doing here is we're only using that as a unifying factor so that the team can support each other. But within the family dynamic, each individual is going to have their own unique talents and their own goals. And the idea is that the team supports each other to achieve them.
Why do you think this isn't more widespread?
I think because families don't talk about money. Us good Canadians, you know, we don't talk about money. It's taboo, or it's social, or it's cultural, and dare I even say sometimes religious. But money has a whole different set of rules around it, and depending on the family or the culture that you come from. And I think we pretty much have a messed up relationship with money. So we need to get a healthier relationship with money and talk about it with each other and with our kids.
Now, let's assume everyone has sort of the same money mindset, in that they understand money, they respect it, they have an acumen, as you've already alluded to. Right. But what about the person that just doesn't care, that just doesn't contribute, the one that will dog the issue all the time. Please tell me every family has one of those at least.
Every family has one of those.
Everybody has one.
Absolutely.
How do you broker them into the situation?
I think it's, again, going back to best business practices. If you have somebody in there who's kind of the, turning the screws to the relationships, is not supporting the dynamic of the family, the team should go on without them. Now, the beautiful thing is about family is when that family member sees what's happening in the family and wants to eventually become part of that, they can be welcomed back in. Unlike a business where, one chance and you're out. So
that's a good point.
Yeah.
Okay, wrap up with how does someone get started?
I think they start by reading the book.
Okay,
True
fair
Family
enough.
Wealth.
Okay, that's a fair statement. But once they've read the book,
yes.
step one would be?
I would say hold your first family roundtable meeting and share what you've learned in the book. And there's some exercises in the book to help the family get a feeling for what it is that's unique about them and each member within the family. It's a really fun exercise. It's a lot of laughs, and I think it's a great way to break the ice and decide whether the family wants to move forward to take the next steps.
I guess it's on our journey to true wealth. Thank you, Chris.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.